What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notifications so you can be notified when we're dropping gems just like this.
Boom! And we are back with another video. This time we are interviewing Vanessa, who is a serial entrepreneur, talk about side hustle queen. Working like a regional manager within the healthcare industry, and then also has 3 side hustles in completely different areas, which is incredible. So you're going to hear all about how she started them, why she started them, and just learn a little bit more about how she juggles them and her journey.
Cool. Let's go.
Okay, so this week, welcome Vanessa. Welcome to the channel. A multiple business owner, full-time mum. Where did you get this insane work ethic from?
Oh God. So when I was growing up, I was always surrounded by my family that had multiple jobs. So it's very normal for me to be surrounded by people that had 2-3 jobs at a time. So when I grew up, it was just kind of normal. Like it didn't feel like I was doing anything out of the ordinary. So when people say to me, oh my God, you've got 2-3 jobs, for me, it just feels normal. And I feel like that's where my work ethic came from. I got my first job when I was 16, working at Marks and Spencer's in the cafe. And I was quite proud of myself because I was like the only one out of my friends to have a job at that age. And then from then it was like a domino effect. I just kept on working and it just never stopped. Went to university and worked 2 jobs while I was at university as well. Yeah, because I was so poor. I refused my other friends at uni were eating like chicken nuggets and chips every day for dinner. And I refused. You know what I'm like, Carly? I can't have chicken nuggets and chips for dinner every day. Yeah. So I just worked 2 jobs on the side. So I worked at Debenhams as a supervisor whilst I was at university. And that kind of gave me the confidence to see I could do more because I was still excelling at university and I was able to still work a night shift and, work on weekends while able to do my full-time studying. So from early on, I was able to see I was able to do a lot in the week. So I think that's where my work ethic has come from, just not really ever stopping.
And you've got 3 side hustles, right? So you've got your main job and you've got 2 or 3 side hustles. Like, how are you juggling all of that?
So I feel like I prepared myself for this journey from everything that I've just said. That really prepared me. So right now I do have 3 side jobs alongside my main full-time job. But I'll be honest, my full-time job, I work from home 3 days a week. Yeah. So it's not a challenging role time-wise. Mentally, it is exhausting because of the information that I'm exposed to. I'm a regional quality assurance manager for mental health hospitals and learning disability care homes. So I do come across a lot of information that is quite challenging to hear. But in terms of time, it doesn't take a lot of time out of my day. Yeah, so when people ask me what I do for a living, I tell them that I'm a regional quality assurance manager for mental health hospitals. They're like, oh my God, like, how do you do that? Plus do your side hustles. And I'm very open and honest. It doesn't take a lot of time out of my life. I do my 9 to 5 and I decide to do my side hustles when I work from home. So my 3 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that gives me the time to nip in and out of my day job. And I can do little things on the side for my my side hustles. So, and also with my side hustles, I strategically look for side hustles that don't take too much time out of my day.
Yeah.
So nice. I own 3 companies. So one is a software company. Again, I don't need to leave my house for that. I can do everything I need to do for that from my house. I meet with my teammates on Zoom. We meet probably about 45 minutes to an hour a day, that's our input to that software and that company. So again, it's an hour a day. It's not a lot. And then for my other company, I own a BBL beds company, which is, I'll go into it a bit later. So that again takes about 20 minutes out of my day. All it requires is for me to check my orders for the day and to pack them up and to take them to the shop for dispatch. It's 20 minutes before the school run. That's all done before I even start my day.
Wow.
And I also have another company called the High Food Clinic, Bedfordshire. So that's in the beauty industry. And again, if I get clients, I probably get about 1 to 2 clients a week. That takes 2 to 3 hours out of my week. So I strategically look for businesses that don't take too much time.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's super, super cool. So just quickly, like going back to a couple of things you said, like at university, what were you studying? What did you study?
So I studied criminology and sociology.
And the sociology part, is that where you've got into the mental health sector, or?
So both sides. So criminology, the criminology side is like the study of why people commit crimes. And a lot of the people that are in our mental health hospitals have a really criminal background. So I'm able to advise the hospitals on how to support those patients. And the sociology side, again, helps because I'm able to understand the sociological reasons to why the patients are where they are in their lives. For example, if they've had a mental breakdown or something has triggered their schizophrenic episodes, sometimes it is related to sociological reasons, such as poverty or things like that. It can stem from that. So a lot of our clinicians really focus on the clinical side, but actually sometimes there are sociological reasons behind their mental depression and things like that.
So also as well, like you said, like strategically you always find things that's not gonna like overrule your life and is something that you can dip in and out of. Like, did you learn that did you have like any failures as you were going along that made you able to say this is the strategy that I'm gonna employ going forward, or is it just something that was in you and something that you saw in your family that they did?
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning of the call, all of my family had 2 to 3 jobs when I was growing up, and they were really difficult, long shifts. You know, like my dad was a bus driver. He would work 12-hour shifts, and then he also worked at the airport cleaning planes. So again, that was 12-hour shifts. My mum, she was a cleaner at a school plus a cleaner at a hotel. So really long, tiring shifts where they're coming home tired and exhausted and grumpy. And I was exposed to that, as, you know, when I was a child. And I said to myself from a very young age, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. So I feel like that's where my drive has really come from, watching my parents and my wider family as well work back-to-back jobs, being tired and exhausting. And as I grew up, I always kind of said to myself, I'm only looking for jobs and investments where it's not going to take too much time, but it's going to be financially rewarding. So it's taken a lot of research and talking to a lot of people to see what industries and avenues I can go down for me to succeed, but not take too much of my time.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, very smart. I like that you've like literally done the opposite of what, and I think it's important that we have these exposures when we're younger because it can shape where you want to go. So we often hear about like the why of why people do what they do. So what's yours? Like, why have you got this drive? I know you've grown up around it, but what is your actual why? Is it for money? Is it for your daughter? What is it for?
So I'll be honest, in the very beginning, it was all about the money and stability. But ultimately, that was for my daughter. I wanted to provide a stable life for my daughter. I didn't want to be the stereotypical single young mum who is living on, benefits, living in a council house and not able to provide, just these horrible stereotypes that I don't even believe, but they get thrown on you as a single mum. And I got all sorts of horrible comments, when I first had my daughter, because I was only 22 when I had her, and I had all, I wouldn't say my family, but a few sneaky comments from people to say, oh, you're too young, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And I proved them all wrong. That kind of gave me the confidence and motivation to say, I'm going to come back and I'm going to prove you all wrong. And so I'm glad I got those comments. I'm glad I got those negative comments, because they really pushed me. So yeah, I think ultimately in the beginning, it was all about providing stability for my daughter. And now, as time has gone on and I'm older and wiser, it's all about just putting my footprint on the world and just becoming an entrepreneur. Like I absolutely love opening new businesses and being successful and learning as well. I love learning new skills. So if I feel like, oh, I can do that, that's going to be a good investment, I will do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So many people shy away from that, or they're scared of the hard work. But like you say, and that's what me and Bex always talk about, that footprint, leaving a legacy, achieving more than just being, oh, I'm born, I have a job, go on a couple holidays and then I die. That's it. I'm like, no, we only get a short time. Let's do something amazing while we're here. So I love that. Yeah. Just on those jobs then. So I think the first one you set up was a software company, right? So what triggered that? And then why then the next one and then the next one?
So the software that I own, so it's called CareView, and it's a online care management software for the care industry. So ultimately what triggered it is my experience. So like I said before, I'm a regional quality assurance manager for mental health hospitals and care homes. So I was able to see where the gaps were. So at the moment, 85% of our industry are still working on paper documents. Wow. So recording, care plans on Word and printing it and putting it in a paper file and then storing it in a cupboard somewhere. And it's like, are we really still doing that? Yeah. And like writing notes to say what the patient is doing, the patient is asleep. And it's like, really? That should be on an iPad or 100%. On a phone or a work phone, and updating it, So we managed to see that gap, and we did some research, me and my business partner, we did some research to see what the competition was. And we noticed there were a few softwares out there, but we decided to go the extra mile and do a complete single platform that covers every single thing you need in the care home from the start of the shift to the finish, to the end of the shift. That currently does not exist in Europe. Wow. So we are the first software company in Europe to create that. And so that was ultimately triggered from me being in this industry and seeing a gap in the market.
Wow. You know what I love about that? Yeah. Sorry, Carly. It's just that the tenacity that you have, and the fact that, and what you see, the really successful people, they work in an industry, they spot the gap and they go and find the solution. And that's what you're doing, which is really, really incredible, to be fair.
So good. Because so many people, like you say, will just put up with that. I mean, I remember when I first started at Amazon, like that's how we used to do stuff. We used to have to write on Excel, print it off, go and do bin checks. And then obviously we've got more and more software, and it's just like, it's pretty much a tech company now. So having that opportunity to innovate is less so there, but obviously there's a lot of industries that are just not there. And I know like the health and stuff like the sectors are so behind. Even like when my dad was in hospital, just some of the stuff, I'm like, what the hell? They're literally just sitting there making all these notes. I'm like, this is insane. And I love the fact that you've gone, well, I'm going to be the one to make that change. That's incredible.
Yeah, the clipboards need to go, honestly.
Clipboard at the end of the
important. I've got my clipboard. I'm super important.
Honestly, they need iPads. But like you said, Carly, the healthcare industry is so behind, it's so underfunded. But my main target audience is the private sector, who have millions and billions of pounds to invest in software. And that's our current target audience.
So cool.
It's really good. Really good.
So you also asked what was the trigger for that, and then what was like.
Then what? Yeah, then the next one. Yeah. So
business number 2 was BBL beds. So I'm sure you both know that BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift bed. So I was scrolling through TikTok, as you do, and then a video come up with these girls who were struggling to sit down. So after you have a BBL, you can't sit down for 6 weeks.
Wow.
You can't lay down on your back, and you can't sit down for 6 weeks. Any pressure will literally just ruin your bum, basically. So I just thought, I was like, well, these girls are idiots. Why don't you just get a bed that has a hole in it? And I was like, oh, hold on a minute, let me look, see if it exists. So I researched it, and actually I thought I was really clever. I thought, oh, I'm onto something here, and it exists in the USA. So I was like, oh, okay. So then a few days later, I thought, you know what? Let me check if it exists in England or in Europe. And there were no companies in England that were selling this bed or had stock of this bed. So I done a bit more research and realized that the US company, they don't ship to Europe because of pricing. It was just too expensive. So I said, okay, there's a gap in the market here, and I'm going to be the first to do that. So I've done my research, made a prototype, and asked a company in China to make 1,000 beds for me, and they did, and that's how it all started. It was just all from a TikTok video.
But you know what's crazy, and what is really like inspiring about you is that you're taking massive risks.
Yeah,
1,000 beds that I know for a fact that wasn't cheap. That wasn't cheap.
No way. Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. I'll tell you the upfront costs. It was about £17,000 to get those beds made and shipped over from China. That was the cost, 17,000 and something.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
What made you go? Because like Bex was saying, I know some companies, obviously they'll be like, oh, the minimum we'll do is 500 or blah blah blah. So I know sometimes you're just restricted by that. But what made you go, this is gonna work? I'm spending that 17 grand because I'm getting it back. Let's do it.
So originally I was going to do 500, but then they said if I do 1,000, it would be significantly cheaper per bed. So I thought, okay, well, the long-term investment would be better if I do 1,000, and also because I had to ship them on a cargo ship and then in a container. Yeah. So it was cheaper for me to get a massive container than to just put it on a section of the ship. Yeah. So when I done when I redone my research, I found out that my 500 beds would only take up half a container, but the 1,000 beds would fill up a whole container. So long term, it was going to be a better investment to order more. So if I ordered 500, it would have still cost me £2,000 to ship them over here. But it cost me £2,800 to ship 1,000. So it was just cheaper long term. And I've only got, we've been trading for 16 months, and I've only got 50 beds left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That shows how many girls are getting
getting their butts done.
Yeah.
With that one, are you just going to sell out and leave it where it is, or will you re-up basically?
No. So a lot of people have been asking me. I've really thought about it, and I'm going to sell out. It's not something I'm passionate about, and I would prefer to focus my energies into things that I'm passionate about. Honestly, like me and my family on a daily basis, every morning, packing up beds, taking them to the shop. It's just not something I'm passionate about. It's easy money, it's good, but it's had its time now.
No, but I rate that, you know, I rate that. I think it's like, you just know when, it feels like you just know when to move. And I admire that. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, the next company is the beauty one.
Oh, yeah. So the HIFU clinic. So do you guys know what HIFU is by any chance?
I actually don't.
Yeah, so it's quite new, and that's why I went for it. So HIFU stands for High Intensity Focused Ultrasound. So it's a new non-invasive skin tightening treatment. So it's the best alternative to plastic surgery. So at the moment, most clinics are offering laser skin tightening. I'm sure you guys have heard of laser skin tightening. HIFU is a next level, basically. It goes deeper. It targets your muscles rather than just the first layer of your skin. So it's like more likely to have, you know, stronger results and longer lasting results as well. So what triggered that? I just woke up one day and said, I want to start another business. And
as you do.
And I want to learn new skills. So I just researched my area. So I live in Bedfordshire. So I looked at gaps in the market, the beauty industry for Bedfordshire. And I could see there weren't many clinics offering HIFU. So I thought, okay, that's going to be my stamp. There are so many girls doing waxing, eyebrows, eyelashes, things like that. And also the return of investment wasn't going to be significant enough for me to make that step. I wanted to go for a treatment that was going to be a minimum of £200 an hour, because I knew that I was only going to do at least 1 or 2 treatments a week. I didn't, like I said at the beginning of the call, I am only interested in doing businesses that are not going to take too much of my time.
Yeah.
So 1 to 2 hours a week, I said to myself, that's all I will dedicate to it. And that's what I'm doing. So it's worked out. I've done my training, ordered the equipment, and yeah, it's going well.
So how do you so you had to do a qualification, I would presume.
Yeah.
And then how do you market for that? Have you got a website and everything?
I do have a website. I do have an Instagram page. I'll be honest, that's one downfall of me. I'm not really into social media. So I need to improve on that. But the website is great. It runs itself. I've asked like a tech guy to set it up so it advertises itself. And if people type in HIFU on Google, it just mine pops up. So that's how people contact me mainly.
So good. It's so good. You're pretty inspiring. So what are the best resources that have helped you along the way? Like, I know that you're looking for gaps in the market, and I think that that's probably one of your strategies. It looks like something that's new, you're willing to go for it, which is a bit mad, because there's not necessarily like a proven blueprint to say it's going to work. So actually it's pretty crazy. But what are some of the best resources that you've used?
My family and friends, definitely. I do turn to them as soon as I've got an idea. I call them and I say, oh, what do you think of this? And they are the devil's advocate. They're like, go for it. Even if they don't believe in it, they'll just like, go for it. You know, if you're doing it, Vanessa, you know, you'll make it work. So yeah, so they always give me the encouragement to do it. And also YouTube, I've learned so much from YouTube. I always, you know, go onto YouTube, see who else is doing it and other people's journeys as well. Because, you know, everyone loves to document, you know, their success stories these days. I love to see success stories. I'm for it. Love listening to podcasts as well, listening to business successes and failures as well. I particularly like to listen to the failures. Well, I shouldn't really call them failures, setbacks, should I say. Setbacks, because I learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
So I think they're my biggest resources, I would say.
And what I love about that is that they're all free.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't like to pay for anything.
That's really sick.
YouTube.
So looking back over the businesses, then what's the one thing that you say you watch a lot of videos that you wish you had known before you'd got started? I don't know if maybe a particular one or across all of them.
So with the BBL beds one, because I just went straight in, I dived in head first to like the deepest part of the pool with that one. I didn't really have any experience in the industry. So getting the beds over from China to the warehouse was a massive challenge. I learned so much along the way. I think I lost about £1,000 as well, because when the beds got shipped over, they were supposed to come in the November before we left the EU, and then it's like the companies were trying to delay it, so it hit on January 1st, and then the beds came on January 1st, and I had to suddenly pay these increased fees because obviously we're no longer in the EU, so the prices increased. So I wish I anticipated that and known more about the exporting and importing side of it, because that was very difficult for me. I was all last minute, had no idea how to pay custom fees. I thought everything was included in my package of when I thought it was like an all-inclusive package. You know, I put the beds on the cargo ship, I paid my fee for that, and I thought that was it. No, there was so many layers to it. It was unbelievable. So yeah, I wish I knew more about that before bulk buying stock from China.
Just on that then quickly, how did you find the company that you were going to use? Like, what sort of research were you doing to find that out? Because there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they want to ship and they know China's probably the best place, but you don't see them. And there's the trust thing as well. It could be anywhere in the world. You don't know them. So what did you do?
So I went onto a website called Alibaba.
Yeah.
And there are loads of companies on there that you know, are from China, India, Turkey, you name it. And I explored many different options in the beginning, looked at a few different countries for manufacturing, and I looked at reviews as well. So what the good thing about Alibaba, they've got customer reviews and ratings. Brilliant. They've got like scores, ratings as well. And only verified businesses can set up an account for Alibaba, which is good. So I trusted that. Brilliant. And I read through lots of reviews as well from other companies, made sure they were actually verified companies as well. So I checked that from the reviewer, you know, Googled the company name, made sure it was actually verified reviews as well. So that was how I trusted the company I was going with. And also the representative from that company that I used was really good, very professional. And we had daily contact as well. So that kind of gave me a lot of reassurance that I was going in with a good company. And I'd say it was really good, really positive experience apart from the shipping. Yeah.
Apart from that, yeah, it just didn't come with the package.
Yeah. I was like, I thought this was an all-inclusive package. But yeah, that's I think that's the only thing I can really think of. Yeah.
Sick. Maybe you could bring out an ebook or something. So so I know we've actually touched on this, but there is some advice out there to focus on one course until successful. So would you say that you didn't move on to the next business until you felt you were quite set up in the one that you was doing? Or did you, like, how long was it between each of the businesses that you set up?
So CareView was the first one. That's the priority for me. So none of my other businesses will ever take priority over CareView. CareView, we started developing CareView in 2018, or was it 2017? Yeah, 2018. And development was going on for at least 2 years. And a lot of the development side it's nothing to do with me. I don't do the coding and things like that. That's another team. So I was kind of left, just twiddling my fingers because it takes at least a year or two to develop a software. So that kind of gave me the time to go into something else. But like I said, with BBL beds, it didn't take a lot of time. It took about 3 to 4 weeks to set up. And on a day-to-day basis, it takes 20 to 30 minutes out of my day. So like I said before, it was a strategic move. And I knew it wasn't going to take too much of my time away from CareView and my main job and my family.
That's sick. So with your team, and I'm just going to jump to the next question that I've got, Carly. So I know you said that you're going to allow the beds to kind of fall by the wayside. So will you be looking to start up something else? Probably, maybe, I'm not sure. CareView is obviously your main thing. Or do you think that you'll invest more time into the CareView to scale up and go massive with that?
Yeah, so we plan to really focus on CareView over the next couple of years. We've realized that our time investment in it has been sufficient, but we need to bring in additional resources, people with expert marketing experience, because that's where we are lacking at the moment. We have a great tech team who are outstanding, and we have, myself and a few other people from my field that are great, and we have all the knowledge in the world, but we lack the advertising and marketing experience. So the next step is to really focus and drive that forward. So I don't plan to start any other businesses for the foreseeable future.
Unless you get bored.
I say that, but yeah, who knows what the future holds.
And the people that you work with, do you know them? Or again, like, how did you find them out and vet, like, yeah, they've got the same vision, they're going to be on the same kind of trajectory as me in terms of getting this and making this successful?
So the software side, so the software lead, he is a friend of mine and he is great, and he's the one that outsourced his team to support him with that. So I trust him and his judgment completely with the tech side of things. So we've split the responsibilities between tech and what the content is really. So I know exactly what the software needs and what the requirements are in order for us to meet the needs of the customers. I tell him what I want, and him and his team will literally just make it happen. It's crazy. I tell him what I want, I literally draw it, and it's on the screen in a matter of weeks. And it's like, how did you do that? It's absolutely crazy. Like, this was in my head, and now it's on a software. It's crazy. But yeah, they're great. So it's mainly friends, and also from my team, old colleagues as well. Yeah, so it's all quite close knit. We haven't done any advertising for jobs or anything like that as of yet.
Yeah, I can imagine that could be so big, that company, honestly.
Yeah,
I bet you're excited about that. Like, yeah.
It's my baby. Honestly, it's my baby. I love it.
So just going back to something you just said about jobs. So starting up in, like, with what you're doing is quite an investment as well. Like, it's not cheap. It's actually to get tech people and all the rest of it, because they're super skilled. So how are you how are you paying for that? Or are people got a percentage of the company, or is it just like your friends are helping you out and you'll reward them later? Like, what's kind of if you don't mind sharing, by the way?
No, I don't mind. I think it's a really good question to ask. I've been so blessed with the people that are around me, and my business partner, he's on board with me. Like, we don't even get paid from CareView yet, and his team are, I say team, it's only two other people. They are so passionate about the software, and they have a true belief that it's going to explode one day, and they just know that they'll get compensated down the line. And they're doing it for experience as well, because it doesn't exist anywhere else. This is a new software that, it's not anywhere else in Europe at the moment. So his team are very passionate about making change for the healthcare industry and being a part of that journey. So yeah, I haven't actually had to pay anybody.
Wow.
That's amazing. I think I think with that, you've obviously done very, very well to sell the vision, and people are buying into your vision and where you're expecting this to go. So I think that's a really important point for anybody that's watching.
100%.
Yeah, they definitely have brought into the vision. And even when they've done their own research, like the tech guys, they've honestly, in the beginning, they were like, this can't be true. This obviously exists somewhere. And they've come back and said, yeah, no, it doesn't. Like it actually doesn't exist. Like we're on board with this.
Are you patenting it, by the way? Or
no, it's not. We've gone down we've had the discussions about it. And for us to go down that route, it's just too expensive. It's not worth the investment. And it's with IP anyway, it's your intellectual property is yours anyway. So the intellectual property belongs to CareView and to us. So nobody else technically can copy it. And that's the good thing about software. Obviously, if another software company sees our software and they think, oh yeah, we're going to pinch that, well, great, that's up to them. But for them to even get into our software, they would need to have our authorization first and like logins and stuff. And it's very unlikely for any other software at this time to get access to it because it's monitored.
a random question, just to throw it out there, just to test you a little bit. If a big investor came along and said, do you know what, this is amazing, would you sell, or are you too invested that you're?
No, we won't sell. We've had that already, and we've had discussions, and me and the team said no, absolutely not, because we've put our whole lives into this the last 2 years. We're so passionate about it, and if I saw another investor, if an investor come along and took it and then changed it, I would be upset, because ultimately, which I didn't explain at the beginning of the call, ultimately we actually created this software to help care homes meet the regulatory requirements. A lot of care homes are struggling at the moment. You know, they're underfunded, they don't have a lot of support from the government, and a lot of independent care homes don't have quality teams or inspectors or anyone like that to come and support them. So we developed this software to help these care homes. The goal wasn't to make a lot of money from it. It actually was to try and improve the quality of care for patients and people with learning disabilities. And there's been a lot of deaths in the last several years because of inadequate reporting. So our software stops that. And yeah, the goal is to help, really, not to make money. Well, make money, but not like,
yeah.
We want it to, yeah. So our vision is not to sell, because that then goes against our values, our company values, and so absolutely not.
I was watching something the other day and they were saying that, I think it was Jeff Bezos that said, if you make something that's there to make people's lives better, you will pretty much guarantee to be successful. And so I love that you've gone back to the fact that it wasn't about that. Yes, that might be something that ends up happening, but ultimately the goal was, there's a problem here and we need to fix it and help people. So that's amazing.
Love it.
Yeah.
So you have a daughter. Does she ever talk to you about it, ask questions about it at all? The fact that you do have all these like side hustles on top of your job?
Yeah, she's, I always update her on what's going on in my life, like our conversations around the dinner table. We'll talk about it. I'll say to her, I've got a client tomorrow for HIFU. She asks me what is it, and I just tell her it tightens people's skin. She's like, why would anyone do that? And I was like, well, when you get older. I said to her, I was like, Nanny, she's got all those wrinkles on her head. I was like, it helps, get rid of the wrinkles. And she's like, oh, okay. So she understands it. And even with the beds, she actually packs up the beds in the morning.
Oh, that's
so she
brilliant.
helps me. Yeah. And if I need anything printing, she'll run upstairs, get the printouts, and then she'll pack everything away for me. She goes to the shop with us to bring it, to drop them off. at the post office or wherever we're going. And she comes to the warehouse as well. She loves it. She loves being involved. Yeah, she comes to the warehouse and, collects the beds with us as well. And with CareView, I talked to her about that as well. And she doesn't really understand it. She's only 8, but she knows that if I've got a call, don't interrupt me.
This is business.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Yeah. She knows that I've got a few things going on. And sometimes it's funny because at school, they went around the class and said, oh, what their parents do for a living. And she was like, she said to me, she didn't know what to say. She's like, my mum has loads of jobs. And she actually didn't know which one to say or how to describe me. And I was like, I don't know how to describe myself either.
Entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur, 100%. Bless her.
I think that's good. And I think that, to be fair, like the exposure that she's getting is similar to the exposure you probably had as a kid. So maybe growing up, she'll probably go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl, Bex,
and I'm Carly
and stuff. So, and we deliver content to unlock
kids
your
need
mindset
to have a little bit of
responsibility as well,
limitless.
so they
Don't
understand
forget to
money and how things
like
work.
we say,
and all the rest
ring
of
the
it.
bell
She's still very
notifications
young,
so you can
but
be notified
yeah,
when
I
we
think
drop
it's really
gems
just
it
like
is so
this.
important, and I feel like I'm trying to make my
we
experience
are
more positive
back
experience.
with yet
because
another
when I was
interview
younger,
with
it wasn't a
serial
great
entrepreneur
experience because mum and dad were never
Vanessa,
home.
who has
They were
got,
always
working in a
shifts
really
and
good job
come
in
home
the
exhausted, tired, and
healthcare industry.
Our house is not like
is it
that.
healthcare? It's considered
I'm always
healthcare,
full of
isn't it?
energy.
Mental health care.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tired
okay,
sometimes, a bit moany. But
What did I say?
most of the
I'll start from the
time,
beginning.
I've got the energy to play with her, to talk
And
to
we
her, to
are
invest in her
back
education,
with
to take her
another
to all of her
video.
clubs,
This time we are
and
interviewing
also
Vanessa,
work
who is a
at the same
serial
time.
entrepreneur. Talk about
And she
side hustle
sees
queen.
that and values it. She understands
Working
that if
like a
mummy's
regional
working,
manager within the
she's doing
healthcare
it so we can
industry.
have this kind of
And then
lifestyle
also
until I
has
can do
3
all of
side
my
hustles in
after school clubs
completely
and go
different
to,
areas, which is
brownies,
incredible. So you're going to
acrobats,
hear
my
all
violin
about
lessons, all of
how
these
she
things that
started
she
them,
does.
why she started them,
She
and just
only
learn a
has
little bit
that
more about how she
because
juggles them
of what
and
I
her
do on the
journey.
side. So she knows that, and I've educated her on that.
I'll say let's go or let's
understand the value of it. Yeah,
let's go.
So important.
Cool.
Yeah,
let's go.
It's very important.
Sweet. Carly, last question.
This is the last one, right? So this question we like to ask everybody at the end is, what is the one question that we could have asked you that we didn't?
I think. I don't even know.
If you don't know, it's fine.
What you could have asked me.
You usually get the typical questions. Maybe something we've not thought about.
I think I would have said, and I think, Bex, you asked me already, didn't you? I was going to say, what's next? Like, what's next for me? But I think we touched on that, didn't we? No, I can't think of anything.
What about you're a woman in tech, so part of STEM. How is that experience that you're having actually? I think that's
you know what? It's actually great. I've actually joined a few women in tech groups as well. We haven't really had any Zoom calls or anything like that, but I do get like newsletters and things like that. Follow a lot of women in tech Instagram pages and things. So I'm learning because it's a completely new field for me. And although I've got the tech guys that deal with that side of things, I do like to get involved and learn things as well. Like I have learned a few new things about tech as time goes on, and things that I never thought I would ever know. So I am learning, and it's actually made me want to learn more about it. So me and my tech guys, we've actually said like we're going to do a few more courses and stuff to learn a bit more about that side of things. And ultimately they've become more interested in the healthcare side of things as well. So they want to do courses on the healthcare side of things, and I want to do courses on the tech side of things. So ultimately we can, be more aware of what's going on the other side.
Yeah.
Because for them, they don't really know why they're doing things until I really explain it to them. But maybe if they educated themselves a bit more on it, they would understand why, and even come up with ideas themselves rather than just relying on me and my team. They might think, actually, this might work better.
Makes sense.
If they knew why exactly they were doing it. So yeah, it's an exciting journey.
I bet.
It sounds incredible. Sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Seriously. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for coming on. This conversation has been super inspiring. I've really, really enjoyed your company. So thank you so much.
Oh, no worries. It's been a pleasure and nice to see you both.
And yourself. Thank you.
All right then. See you later.
Let's see you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that is the end of this episode. We had a really, really great chat with Vanessa. Thank you so much again for coming on to our show. It's your girl, Vex.
And I'm Carly. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. We're definitely looking forward to catching back up with Vanessa in the future, especially to see where she's gone with that software company. It's absolutely incredible what her and her team are doing there. So we will see the rest of you next week.
Peace.